Hey everybody. I tried to do this last night, but my battery died, and figured, I'm on my way to church. Might as well try it here. Um, it's no secret that I, among many, am a fan of Nostalgia Critic. I don't think that's much of a secret. And it's not much of a secret that as any fan goes, I enjoy his work. I enjoy his reviews. I enjoy his editorials. And that is why I'm kind of doing a bit of a response to his most recent movie review, and that was of Turbo, a Power Rangers movie. Now, I can understand, and know Nostalgia Critic's not the first one to rip into this movie. And that's the truth. He's not. He's not the first one to rip into this. The actual first one that I know of at that site, that guy with the glasses.com, in Blim TV, was Linkara. Linkara was the first one. There was Limbo, whatever his last name is. He was the first one to rip into it. And I can understand why people rip into it as much. Whether you liked the franchise or not. Whether you grew up with the franchise or you didn't. I can understand why a lot of people prefer the first movie over the second one. You see, the first movie, let's set the record straight about this. The first movie was its own standalone continuity, was its own standalone film. And what I mean by that is, the first movie, Power Rangers the movie, was more along the lines of kind of giving us an American version of Power Rangers. Basically all original footage, nothing taken, nothing dubbed over, nada. Just all original footage. So basically giving us a standalone Power Rangers American version of Power Rangers. Like I said, all original. But here's where the confusion lies in when it comes to it. Now we know they get the ninja powers in this movie. But they also get the ninja powers in the series. Now here's the reason it happens twice. In the movie, they get the ninja powers thanks to a character named Dulcia. Basically more of a feature film kind of individual. In the show, they had to adapt and dub and remake how they got it, courtesy of the Sentai. So basically, it's the same powers, but they had to redo a television. They had to basically make a made-for-television version of how they got the powers, instead of just letting the movie be how they got it and go from there. And then now that's where Turbo comes in. See, Turbo is basically what I'm sure the people that originally created this Sentai, which Power Rangers is based off of, would have loved to see in the first place. See, Turbo basically is a movie that takes place within the continuity. Hold on for a second. Well, like I was saying, Turbo is actually a movie that takes place within the continuity. You see, it's kind of like Transformers the movie from 1986. You see, Transformers the movie gapped the bridge, if you will, between Season 2 and Season 3. And by doing so, it allowed you, if you went and saw, if you were fortunate enough to see the movie in theaters, it allowed you a month or so later to tune into Transformers and continue on from where the movie left off. People like me that didn't get the chance to see it until it came out on VHS had to basically read about it, hear about it, and want to know, and basically have to watch the third season just to know what the heck was going on and kind of get caught up as to what happened in the movie. So basically that's what Turbo is like. See, Turbo basically bridges the gap between Zeo and Turbo. Now, there have been many speculations and rumors throughout the year as to why the turbo powers came into existence. See, a lot of people like Linkara, and I'm sure nostalgia critic Doug Walker and many others, feel as though there was no problem with the Zeo powers. And that, according to what Linkara, being a big Power Rangers, a huge Power Rangers fan himself, has said, the Zeo powers were stated to get stronger over time. Now, one could argue that, Linkara Lewis has a point about that. But then again, one can argue the fact that they were going into a mystical island, if you will, where maybe the Zeo powers were not strong enough. Despite the fact that it's supposed to get stronger and stronger over time, maybe they're not powerful enough to cross over to this island, and maybe they're not powerful enough to fight this monster that Divatox was going to unleash. So, maybe that's the reason as well. And I think it is kind of explained that they needed to have new powers to do this. Now, despite all that, despite the fact that, okay, now, despite all that and everything, one of the other major problems people have with this wasn't just, oh, here they got new powers, but they don't have a real reason for it. There's, the original powers weren't destroyed. But the speculation, like I said, is sort of a behind-the-scenes deal. See, someone that was once a fan, who became a writer someone that was a fan who eventually became a writer for Wild Force, along with some friends, did a story called Scorpion Reign or something like that. And basically that was supposed to help bridge the gap between Zeo and the Turbo movie. And the Turbo movie was supposed to go from there. There's also speculation that Billy, who kept disappearing on occasions during the Zeo season, leading to the speculation he could be the Gold Ranger, behind the scenes, story-wise, according to what this individual wrote, or what's been brought up, storyline-wise, was actually helping to develop the turbo powers as I guess his last gift to his friends and sort of a backup deal. Okay, alright, one, I can understand maybe Billy doing it. I can't. I really can, but still, you should have at least given some hint in Zeo. If you knew you were going to go in this direction, here's what I would have done. Zeo was good, but here's what I would have done. Throughout Zeo, I would have had glimpses and everything of Billy working on some kind of big project, and maybe have a glimpse here and there of what that project could be. Thus, it wouldn't be that much of a surprise. Well, it would be a surprise still, but it wouldn't be that much backlash from the fans as to when it would happen. Kind of give some indication that what he's doing is creating some allow him to give some kind of explanation as to saying, hey, I'm creating these, I'm helping Alpha and Zordon create these backup powers for you guys, just in case the Zeo powers are ever destroyed. And one could understand that. One could understand that. But again, like I said, you know, it all depends exactly on what you want to believe. So anyway, the Turbo movie, it definitely got more of a negative reaction than anything because it was more in continuity instead of its own standalone deal. And then we get right into the film. Into the series. Now the movie, people have said it's, like I said, kind of got mixed to negative to mixed reactions. But some that did give it the positives said that the good thing about it was at least you were passing the torch, or you were introducing these new powers with this new adventure on a wider and bigger budget, and on the big screen. They gave him that credit. Some gave him that credit that it was a bigger budget. It was on a wider scale. They gave him that. But still, it was basically something that, you could have easily had on television as a television movie. But I digress. Turbo Power Rangers movie, to me it was okay. It's just that, when I first saw it, I'm thinking, well, why is everything so different? And then only it dawns on me when I start watching the Turbo season that this was nothing more than a movie, a theatrical season premiere, if you will, or series premiere. That's all it was, a theatrical series premiere. So, that's basically what Turbo Power Rangers movie was. A big screen series premiere for the Turbo franchise, for the Turbo era in the Power Rangers franchise. So, to me, I'm thinking, okay, that's a good thing. That's good. At least they're willing to go that far because Power Rangers was still a bit of a big deal. But despite all that, here's what really gets fans kind of mixed reactions to Turbo overall. One, you have Justin, a 12-year-old kid, played by 12 to 13-year-old Blake Foster at the time, as the Blue Ranger. As the new Blue Ranger taking Rocky's place. Now, they can understand. Now, I'm sure anybody like myself could understand it if, Justin was allowed to perform as a Power Ranger in his Power Ranger suit, as his actual size. People could accept that. But, like I said, people could accept that. But him morphing and then growing in size, people can't accept. And I think that's one of the criticisms about it. It's like, okay, if he's this size and he's fighting as a Power Ranger, they can understand. If he's this size, like half my size. But if he's morphing and growing into twice his size, people can't accept that. Another thing, and one last thing before I go into church, that they can't accept is the fact that for one movie, for basically 20 episodes, 20 adventures, you have Tommy, Kat, Tanya, and Adam as Power Rangers, as the Turbo team, and then you pass it on to TJ, Cassie, Ashley, and Carlos, along with Justin. So, again, that's one of the main those are just basically two of the main backlashes, besides, the Turbo powers replacing the Zeo powers without any explanation, without, let's say, the Zeo powers being destroyed, as one speculation has come around for behind-the-scenes story. But that's basically my reply to Nostalgia Critic's review of Turbo Power Rangers movie. Let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like, and I'll talk to you later.